At Rise, a dimly lit Gothic bedroom. The last embers of flickering candlelight illuminate cobwebs and dusty furniture. Luna is sitting on the window seat, fingering a locket around her neck and peeking out the heavy drapes that stand between her and the outside world. Count Dracula, the 10,000, her father, stands nearby, looking weary.
Luna, it's getting late. You should be in your coffin.
Not tonight, Dad.
Again with you not tonight. Look, baby, we're vampires. We sleep in coffins. It's tradition. We lie down, we close the lid, we sleep. What could be better than that?
It's a cold, damp box, Dad. It smells bad. Musty. Like an old closet.
Musty. Smells like history to me. A family legacy.
Dracula closes the coffin lid with a bang. Luna jumps at the sudden noise.
My dear, I'm just closing the lid. Don't be so jumpy.
I can't help it. Everything in this castle creaks and groans. It's creeping me out.
Who ever heard of a vampire being creeped out? We have fangs, we turn into bats. We're the creepy ones.
Maybe I don't want to be a vampire anymore, Dad. Maybe it's just not my thing.
But you're a vampire princess. You come from a long line of vampires. I am Count Dracula the 10,000th, you know.
I know. I'm trapped in this castle forever. I never get to do normal teenager stuff.
Luna, this castle keeps you safe. You're young. What do you know about normal teenager stuff?
Pretty much everything. I know that teenagers go to school, they hang out with friends and play video games, they hug and they laugh. They don't hide in the dark like we do. They live in the day.
Who told you this? I've never let you out of my sight.
The Disney Channel, it's on TV late at day.
Oh, I never stay up past 12 in the afternoon myself. Luna, tell me more about this normal. When you're normal, do you drink blood like we do?
I prefer lemonade. Have you heard of it?
I've tasted the blood of countless humans, but never this lemonade. Does it have the tang of fear, the iron of life?
No, Father. None of that. It's just, well, sweet and tart with a citrusy flavor. Imagine a mix of sunshine and the juice of a lemon.
Sunshine? What do you know about sunshine?
Well, it's, bright and sunny. On hot days, lemonade is like a refreshing kiss of sweet citrus.
A kiss on a summer day. I don't understand this human talk.
Maybe you should try a glass sometime, Father. You might like it.
It does sound good. But you can't just drink. You're a growing vampire. You need food. Would you still attend your regular feedings?
I've found alternatives. There's hamburgers, fried chicken, and mashed potatoes, and even something called chocolate cake. Oh, Father, it's delicious.
But what could be more delicious than a fresh young soul?
Well, chocolate cake, of course. It's like a dark, rich, velvety cloud with a hint of sweetness. It melts in your mouth and makes you feel warm and fuzzy inside. It's a taste of pure happiness, decadent and satisfying.
How can anything compare to the blood of a maiden in full bloom? It's a rush of pure energy, a taste of life. But I must admit, this chocolate cake does have a certain allure.
Totally.
Let's get back to the point. Being a vampire isn't our blood. It's who we are. You're a vampire, Luna. And so am I. It's not a choice. It's destiny, and we have to respect that. Your grandfather, Count Dracula the 9999th, taught me the importance of our heritage and how tradition must be honored.
Father, you keep talking about tradition, but it doesn't change how I feel. Just because we're raised one way doesn't mean we have to keep on living like that.
You were born into a legacy of power and immortality. To reject that, well, it's like a wolf turning vegetarian.
But Father, what's the point of power if it traps us in fear?
Luna, you're young. You don't know what it's like to live with a hunger that can only be satisfied with blood.
I know what it's like to hunger, but I also know that I can find nourishment in the strength of my convictions, not in the weakness of my desires.
You're talking about defying centuries of tradition, Luna. What will other vampires think? They'll reject you, turn against you.
Like they did Mother.
What? How do you know? You were so young.
I know that vampires live forever, so Mother couldn't be dead. And you always say that I'm just like her, different from the others. Look, Dad, I can't live my life based on expectations of others. I have to find my own path. I want peace, not just in the darkness, but in the light.
What you don't know, Luna, is that your mother lost her fangs. She spent too much time in the sun. The elders had to kick her out. I couldn't reject the tradition like she did. Your mother was the only light in my life. That is, until you came along. And now she's gone.
Dracula faces his daughter. Luna softly fingers the locket on her necklace.
Why do you always wear that necklace? It fills the castle with unbearable warmth.
It's the locket Mother gave me. I remember something Mother told me. She said, the sun is not our enemy, that we can find freedom in the light.
Freedom. In the light. The light is a killer. It took my wife from me.
Mother said that we don't have to be monsters, that we can be free from the darkness.
I wish you were here.
Me too, Father. Can I show you something? Can I show you the sunlight?
Sunlight? Show me the sunlight?
Luna nods, smiles, and touches the locket. She knows that the sun has risen beyond the heavy curtains and reaches out to open them. Immediately, a path of sunlight pierces the room, sending shadows fleeing to the corners. Dracula recoils in horror, trying to block the light with his hands.
Luna, the sun, the sun!
What about it, Father?
It's out, it's out!
Yes, Father, it comes out every day.
Dracula clutches his throat and gasps for air, as if choking, and falls backward into a nearby chair.
But it hurts!
You're overreacting, Dad.
I am in pain!
No, you're not, Dad. There's nothing wrong with you.
Huh?
Dracula catches his breath and slowly regains his composure. Looking at the bright beam of sunlight for the first time in his life, Luna shakes her head playfully.
Look, Dad, look. There's a beam of sunlight touching your arm.
But that's impossible. The sun burns. It's a killer.
No, Dad. It's just warm. It doesn't kill you. Come on, I'll show you.
But
Luna steps into the sunlight letting the warm rays paint her body in light. She looks up at her dad with a twinkle in her eye. Dracula stares in disbelief.
But you're not burning.
Look, Dad, the sun doesn't hurt us. Mother was right. You just have to adjust.
Dracula slowly extends the rest of his arm into the path of sunlight, full of wonder as he watches beams of light dance across his hand.
Adjust?
Yes,
It's soft and warm. But they said it would hurt. They said it would kill me, all of them. The elders, the priests, even Count Dracula the First.
they lied to us, Father. They kept us in the dark so they could control us. They found power in our fear.
They've been lying to our faces. You mean we're not cursed to live in darkness forever?
No, Father, we're not cursed. The sun has set us free.
Free to find my wife?
Yes, Dad. Free to find your wife. Free to turn from death and to find new life.
But how? Where do I start?
You have to change your desires. When you desired blood, you got death. Now, if you want life, you have to desire the sun.
What does that mean?
It means that you have to see the sun as your helper, not your enemy. It means to turn to the sun and step into it with all your heart.
By this time, the morning sun has filled the once dark room with his glory. Count Dracula and his daughter are both caught up in the brilliant glow.
Look, Dad, you've done it. You're in the sun.
Yes, I'm warm. Finally, on the inside and the outside.
Mother said we didn't have to be monsters. Look, Dad, our fangs are even gone.
Dracula and Luna stare at each other, as if for the first time, full of wonder.
I wasn't ready to hear the truth from your mother, but I heard it from you. Thank you, dear.
No. Thank you, Mother.
Luna lovingly touches the necklace as her father catches her up in a warm embrace. The sun is out. Morning has indeed arrived. Blackout curtain.
This is The 13th Victim, a Gothic tale for Reader's Theatre by Robert Chambers. The setting is the streets of Victorian London in 1889, 1 year after the Ripper murders.
All down the narrow, writhing, soot-streaked London streets he went, sent not by wry fate's pernicious plan, nor even by the dark things that the doctors said lay deep within. What did they know? Nothing constrained him. His actions were deliberate, his mind as calm as the gentle breeze and cool as the September morning. He was his own soul's master.
Hysteria, they had said. Hysteria? Rubbish. He was no simpering Miss Nancy. Let all the charlatans natter on. Let his family waste their wealth on Harley Street doctors. He would humor them all, keep his own counsel, and perfect his plans.
By his own might, He had vaulted over the centuries of inherited superstition. He had rolled back the repression that stiffened his manner and speech like starch in his collars and cuffs. He had chosen to dress rough in tattered cast-off clothing stolen from the stable boy, darkened his wan skin with grease paint, and spattered his visage with grime.
No one would know from his lowered gaze and shambling gait the lofty height from which he had descended. He passed unnoticed among the masses. Neither the thieves nor the constables looked his way. The prostitutes paid him no mind. By the time darkness had descended and the bell in Westminster Tower had tolled 7 times, he had chosen the first victim.
She was in her 40s, a slack, fat, 3-shilling baud, like most of those the Ripper had worked on the year before. He could not see her clear, for the quarter moon was soon to set and shrouded by clouds. But her swaying stride was easy to follow.
Driven to hunt her? Compelled to pursue? Who would dare think it? Oh, his blood was up all right, but only by the playing of the game. No, he was no fierce fiend or barbarous brute.
He was elegant, composed, refined, a pearlescent soul ensconced in a rough shell, looking for all the world like a grubby dock worker shuffling home to thin soup and hard bread. But his eyes were keen and quick, and he could take her whenever he wanted.
It was full dark beneath a lowering sky when the sonorous bell sounded 11. The moon had long since disappeared, and no lamps lit the maze of alleys and warrens. Now would be the time, for time to end for her if he willed it. His knife was sharp.
One quick motion, and she would slump. Her soul would not linger.
He fingered the knife hilt. His pace increased. He drew near.
As though sensing him behind her, she broke stride and stiffened.
And swifter than thought, he turned and entered an alley ere she peered over her shoulder.
He smiled.
It was not the whim of fate that spared her.
It was not the plan of Providence.
It was his decision, and his alone.
All the next day, the skies were torn by torrential thunderstorms, but late in the afternoon, he donned his disguise and went hunting.
As the gloom gave way to black night, lightning flashed on the face of a drenched, shivering girl in her early 20s.
He could read it in her eyes. Desperation had driven her from shelter to sell her body and buy bread. She mustered up a saucy smile and said,
"How about we find someplace warm and have a nip? Then maybe we can go back to mine and do the blanket hornpipe. That is, if you can afford me a rates."
She was pretty, in a broken sort of way, and he felt a stirring in his nethers. But the sore at the corner of her mouth warned him off. Silently, he nodded and pulled out a flask.
"Lead the way,"
he said, and she got his meaning, and within minutes they had arrived.
"It ain't much, but there's a coal grate."
In truth, it was squat and squalid and smelled estrus. Sadly, the smoldering coal did little to banish the chill. He picked up a grimy cup from the small table and filled it from his flask.
He handed it to her.
She drank. She looked surprised. She said,
"Blimey, this is all right. Where'd you nick it from, then?"
But he did not answer. Instead, he listened to the bell in Westminster Tower tolling 11. Then, as she watched him, he counted out 5 shillings onto the table and pointed to the bed.
"Turn down the covers and make ready."
said. And as she obeyed, he eased up behind her, breathing on the back of her neck while she started to disrobe.
That tickles.
She said, and began to turn, but he grabbed her shoulders roughly and forced her back in place, facing the bed.
Be still. Be quiet. No matter what you hear or what I do not turn.
His stern tone frightened her, but she knew rough men, knew better than to cross them when they gave commands. So she stood still, staring at a stain on the wall, straining to listen to the little whispering sounds that issued from behind her.
She did not move when the sweat trickled down and stung her eyes. She held still despite the pounding of her heart, and after the long silence had worn her nerves raw, she suddenly whirled around, throwing up her arms before her face to fend off the blows.
But apart from the grimy cup on the small table and the 5 shillings, the room was empty.
And outside, lightning flashed and thunder crashed.
And rain pelted a lone man trudging through the streets.
A smile upon his lips.
Once more, of his own volition, he had spared a victim. He possessed not only the power of death, but also of life.
That vital fluid pulsing in her pale neck and running in red rivers through her arms and torso. He had chosen not to spill it. Why? Perhaps it was that she was prettier than most and so deserved to live.
It was simply survival of the fittest, a term he learned at university. Spencer had coined the phrase, shorthand for the preservation of favored races in the struggle for life.
Such a sober and clear-eyed truth. It encompassed all, not just biology, but even the British Empire, upper-class prosperity, and the ongoing poverty of the poor. And he was now the agent of this overwhelming force.
On the 3rd day, a grand plan began to form. Each night, he would pick a victim. There were plenty to choose from in Whitechapel. The streets teemed with trollops. And by midnight, he would decide.
Should she live?
Would she die?
With no other why than whether she pleased his eye or he liked her laugh.
And he would wait until the last instant, choosing not to choose until the inevitable now, avoiding all advanced determination, even letting the moment itself decide.
For he would not be swayed by superstitions, repressed by dread of divine retribution, or crippled by constraining codes of conscience.
Nor would he be restrained by reason, held in the thrall of thoughts, pondering too precisely pro and con.
But with sudden, swift impulse, arising from his very essence, he would settle the matter.
That 3rd night, he followed a wrinkled whore even to the door of her dwelling. And when she saw him, she swore a rasping oath, wheezed and coughed, and heaved a rattling breath. And there he knew there was no need to do redundantly what had been done by decades of disease. Nor could he then undo her doom.
The 4th he found was a wanton, fair of face, and hardly woman enough to rouse a man of normal urges. The giggling girl hung on a drunkard's arm, and he dreamed of drenching the lush with her warm blood and leaving the blade clasped in the man's hands. Yet only the idea appealed. The deed itself was vain. Nothing would change. Some other old sot would find some other willing young filly to mount. And as the bell tolled 11, he let them go.
And so it went, night by night, deciding not to purge the world of one more whore. Then, on the 9th night, as the sun set, the moon rose full and red in London's haze. He stood amazed, filling his eyes with the sight, realizing this might be the night the victim would be slain.
If he set stock by portents, it would be the perfect one. A red moon rising, lit by a russet sun, a fiery presage of dire events.
And yet, was it not his intent to shut out from his life all vestige of credulity and delusion? He had set for himself a mission to cast off every fetter and be forever free, free from every trammel that cinched his existence and pinched his soul.
No, he would ignore portents. He would be bold, undaunted, beholden to no one, in no way swayed by any atavistic force.
And suddenly it sat there in his thoughts, a crystal clear intent, the perfect plan to rid himself of every inherited stupidity his relatives had laid on him from birth.
He bristled at the thought of all the silly superstitions they blindly embraced.
Knocking wood,
Spilled salt,
Black cats,
Walking under ladders,
and the bugbear of all the credulous.
the dreaded number,
the dreaded date,
Friday the 13th.
a fierce energy raced in his blood. The reputed frightful night lay only 4 days away. It would be just the right way to end the influence he even now so keenly felt.
But he would stay the course, force himself out to prowl the lamplit lanes and lurk in deserted doorways, search each evening for a different doxy.
He would let the destiny of each victim perch on the balance point between doom and deliverance. Each night he would decide.
And yet he knew, sure as sunset, none would die. Not yet.
He rose the 13th morn in a manic mood. At breakfast he spilled the salt on purpose, and despite the stares of his kin, did not toss any over his shoulder.
All day he sought out ladders to walk beneath, black cats to cross his path, chances to boast without knocking wood, and times to lie without crossing fingers.
A small smile lingered on his lips as he readied himself for his rounds, regarding in the mirror his altered image, his grimy face and ragged garb, for one long, lingering while before he smashed the silvered glass.
And then he was out the door, forging a route through the evening throng, his heart swelling with elation.
The sun dove quickly beyond the horizon, plunging the city into deep darkness, the moon not due to rise for 2 more hours.
And then, in the gloom, his gaze fixed on a lumbering form in a drab dress, and his anger surged. Fat females always repelled him, perhaps because his matriarchal mother and spinster sisters, prime sources of religious repression, reveled in the folds of flesh that bulged around their necks and burgeoned beneath their garments.
The figure that lurched in front of him was more corpulent than any of them, broader in the beam than even Queen Victoria. Revulsion merged with rage and rose in his breast. He was in the throes of fervor now. How could he wait till late in the night, when the time would be ripe for dark deeds? How could he even tarry till moonrise?
No, now was the right time to strike. With a light stride, he drew swiftly near, even as the figure swerved into a narrow alley, becoming a black blob in the deepening darkness.
Now he broke into a run.
Now he slipped the sharp knife from the sheath.
Now he prepared to thrust.
Now the figure turned.
But the bland, fat female face he thought to see flushed with terror
Was instead grim and grizzled with a glowering sneer.
and beneath folds of cloth a blade flashed and thrust, but not his blade.
And blood welled, black in the shadows, not from the figure before him, but from his own breast.
He gasped and dropped his knife and grasped instead his wet chest.
And as his legs sagged, the blade again flashed, severing the strings of his purse.
And from the figure he had pursued came a sonorous growl.
Lurking in these parts in the dark ain't for fine rich folk, for there be eyes that see through disguises.
His assailant slipped away, but he lay in the alley, his wound oozing and blood bubbling in his breath. Death would come presently, silent and swift.
The darkness within had driven him into the darkness of these grim streets, and as his vision dimmed, he brooded that soon, before the moon rose, his darkness would be complete.
If only those who had demeaned his keen soul as hysterical could see how now he met his end with calm, a wry, ironic smile on his thin lips.
For, after all, his fall had all the hallmarks of fate.
And though he hated the notion, no more wrath remained in him to rage against it.
Resignation settled on his fading soul, and he allowed that there might yet be things he had not seen or thought or even dared to dream of.
For he himself had become the 13th victim.
A victim of Friday, the 13th.
His last thought,
As his breath slowed,
And his eyes drooped.
And all went black.
Remember Us, a play by Nicholas Hart. At Rise, Benjamin sits at a table sipping a beer. Laura enters and stops as Benjamin stands. They stare at each other for a moment.
Laura Callahan,
Ben, it's been a long time.
you look perfect.
You keep fit yourself.
Please sit. I ordered you a drink.
Oh, margarita rocks. Thank you. Whew. I can't believe I'm here. You're here. It's just so weird.
It's like a time warp.
Back in senior year, we talked about our future.
I meant every word I said.
Me too. But then things changed.
Yeah, that German guy.
Heinrich.
Whatever happened to him?
He stayed in Frankfurt and was going to marry his childhood sweetheart. Clara was her name.
You know, I recall you were always experimenting in the kitchen,
Yeah.
picking up one thing or another.
I still do. I'm even better at it now.
And you're as lovely as ever.
Oh, you still run?
Yep. I did the marathon last year.
It shows. You were both in school too.
Basketball.
That's right. You were pretty good.
2 state championships, 2 years running. So how you been holding up with the?
Oh, I'm just keeping it together. Yeah. What about you and Sam?
Susan.
Oh, I meant Sue. God, sorry.
She's fine. Kids are terrific.
My son's now a junior in high school.
Oh man, time goes so fast.
I know, it seems
Not
like we
too fast.
blinked and it's just like, phew.
High school ends and life comes at you like a freight train.
I hoped I'd hear from you. So glad when I finally did.
You got the flowers I sent?
Yes. I cried for an hour.
Oh, that wasn't my intention.
No, I know. It's just, I shouldn't say. It's fine.
Go ahead, please.
No, it's so inappropriate. It's just.
Laura, I still feel a deep connection.
That is such a relief. It never ended for me.
I want to kiss you. A real one. Do you mind?
Go ahead. Ooh,
That was better than I imagined.
brings back so many memories, right?
You were the best kisser.
Should I be insulted? Oh, she was a good lay.
No, I mean, your lips are soft and electric.
I don't think I can do this, Ben.
We can take it slow.
No, it's too real. I don't know what I'm saying. It's just...
I'll stop. Okay?
Look, you're still married to Sam.
Stu,
I meant Sue, sorry. Yeah.
we're separated.
Oh, don't say that.
We've been going through some issues.
Yeah, and you'll get through them. Think of your kids.
Was caused in part by you.
Oh, I will not be your excuse. Lord knows there are too many of those in the world.
You're so cute when you get riled.
Stop saying things like that.
Oh, we always had great chemistry.
You're making me happy. And I cannot be happy right now. I'm still in mourning.
All I want is to make you happy.
Yeah, but there are other people to consider now.
When we agreed to meet, I was so excited. I arrived 2 hours early, just in case of traffic. I imagine you'd walk in with one of those delicious cakes of yours.
You've been here since 4 o'clock.
I had a few drinks. And sorry I made you cry in Boston.
I made myself cry. I was overly sensitive back then. You were pretty full of yourself, as I recall.
Was gonna conquer the world.
Yeah, become a millionaire by 30.
It didn't happen.
Took longer than expected, but you were so determined to give me anything I wanted, which was very sweet.
Please say you still want me.
I do still want you, but we can't do this.
Let's pretend we're 18, full of raging hormones. There's a motel next door.
Oh, is that why you suggested this place?
It's not the only reason.
It's so juvenile. A motel so we can hide from our parents.
This is where we went on our first date.
No, it isn't.
This was the location of the Primo Diner.
Oh my God, right. They knocked it down.
This is where I first kissed you.
You were so embarrassed. Oh my God.
I was trying to impress you with my wit and charm.
And I went into the bathroom to put on more ruby red lipstick so I'd be ready for that kiss. Oh,
It was a magical night.
the past always seems better than it was. Then we grow up and find out who we really are.
So you want to go to the hotel?
Ben, please. I don't need this right now. I thought we're just old friends, like you said in the card.
I mean, I'd invite you to my place, but it's 30-minute drive.
I have to go home.
I can come to your place then.
No, I'm a 40-minute drive in the opposite direction.
That doesn't bother me.
No, I don't want my son to see you. His name is Ben.
You named your son Ben?
No, it wasn't like that. Look, we like the name.
My daughter's name is Laura Ann.
You didn't.
I can be stealthy. He'll never even know I'm there.
Look, it's not that I don't love the idea. It's too soon. His father and he were really close.
I understand.
Well, if you understand, then make this easy for me.
What do you want me to do? Kiss your feet if you like.
That tickles too much.
Feet are very sensual. Yours especially.
Look, I will fool around, but a one-night stand is all I can manage.
I'm offering you more and you're demanding less?
I'm in a fragile state and I need to protect myself and you. Our priorities change when our desires escalate to unrealistic proportions.
I know what's missing in my life.
Mm.
It's you.
Ben, buy your wife some flowers or a nice pendant and she will forgive you.
You don't know her.
Look, I don't have to. She's a woman married to you. Trust me, I already know more than enough.
I'm confused.
Well, don't be. Look, you're looking back at something that ended 20 years ago. We've had no contact in all that time because we've been living our separate lives.
I want you back in my life, Laura. I can't put it any more simply than that.
No, Ben, you want a past love that doesn't exist anymore. It never progressed since it wasn't meant to be. I mean, sure, yeah, we can have sex, we can feel young for a few minutes and recall old times, but then you're going to wake up to see who I really am in the cruel fluorescent light. The magic will vanish and then you'll just realize you're much better off with Susan than with me.
That will never happen.
Well, I don't want to hurt you. I love you too much to put you through that unintentionally.
Promise I won't hurt you again.
I'm yours for the asking. It's just, that's not the issue.
Why did you go to Frankfurt to be with Heinrich when you knew it would make me insane? Imagine all the wonderful meals you cooked up for him and not for me.
No, you can't, and you don't want to know.
What do you mean?
I just needed to gain some perspective.
I dated a lot of women because I was angry with you.
Well, you should have done your thing without thinking about me.
We had been so close, I couldn't let go.
Yeah, and that was our problem in a nutshell. You and I knew each other so well, it became stifling. And you would have felt that too if we'd stayed together. Believe me, I did you a favor.
Nothing's changed. We can start again right where we left off. Nothing else matters.
Your wife and kids matter. Don't forget about them.
I understand and agree. We shouldn't hurt the people we love. I want you so much. It's always been you.
And I want you too. I really do.
Tell me, how can we make this work?
I'm not sure that we can. It's the difference between life at 18 and life at 40 that are a lot more variables.
So we sacrifice our true feelings because it's the right thing to do.
I can't do that to my son, and I will not do it to your kids.
I have an idea. I think it might work.
What is it?
Let's meet here again in a year. That should be enough time for your son and
No, look,
you.
it's a reasonable plan, and I don't want you getting divorced over me. That would be much too messy.
Susan and I don't communicate anymore. It's like a fence went up and there's no getting around it.
Well, I certainly can't help you with that.
We'll figure this out. No, I adore you.
I love you more than you know.
Tell me, how did your husband die?
He became very ill from something he ate, and then he died. I need to go.
Laura Callahan.
I hope I didn't get on too early. Oh, that was so good. Sorry.
Young rider, male, 30, wearing a Stetson, plaid shirt, leather vest, jeans, sits on a fallen tree log. There's a small campfire in front of him. He's holding a tin mug in both hands. Young rider sips coffee from the mug. He sits quietly. Briefly, he looks over to one side. He waits for a few seconds. Then he turns back to the fire. He stirs the ember of the fire with a stick, then takes another sip of coffee. Again, he turns in the same direction. This time, he drops the mug as he abruptly stands up. He pulls a revolver from his holster.
Easy now. That's a waste of coffee. And from the smell of it, it's a waste of good coffee.
Young rider does not respond. He raises the revolver toward the voice.
Sorry to get you all riled up, but your coffee lured me in.
Young rider maintains the revolver at the voice.
It's bad business to sneak up on a body in the dark. Near dangerous, too.
Don't I know the truth in that? But then I had no way of announcing myself until I got here.
Young rider maintains holding the revolver.
Then I guess you just keep riding on.
Well, I would, but my horse is about baked, and if I push her on, she might end up buzzard bait. To tell the truth, I'm almost crow bait myself.
Not my concern.
I get you. I surely do. But if the boot was on the other foot, I'd let you sit a piece before you got on your way. Being hospitable out here could save a man's life.
Keeping out of reach of rustlers can save a man's life as well.
I get you. I do. And I've been a bronc buster, buckaroo, a header, and a healer. Ridden with vaquero and did some wrangling, but I ain't ever been a rustler.
Young rider begins to feel the weight of the revolver.
I don't know you nor your word. It's best for both of us. You just move on.
Even if I could move on, I wouldn't get very far. Wouldn't you feel better keeping me in your eye here than at your back in the dark?
Young rider's hands holding the revolver begins to tremble.
I'm getting right concerned if you hold that 6-shooter much longer. It just might go off. Well, looky here. How about I strap my ride to your picket line with my rifle and pistol? I'd be unarmed. And for some of your coffee, I'd share some biscuits I got in my war sack.
Young rider braces his gun with his other hand.
You got youth over me, and I come in with only biscuits and a mug. All I want is to sit, rest, and then move on.
Young rider takes a moment, then slowly lowers his gun.
Rest. Then move on.
That's the all of it.
Tie up and come in. Coffee's still hot.
Much obliged. You'll be thanking me once you chomp on those biscuits.
Young rider picks up his tin cup as he moves back to the campfire. He sits back down. Elder rider, male, 55, wearing well-worn Stetson, plaid shirt, leather vest, jeans, strolls into the camp. Young rider holsters his gun, but keeps one hand on the grip. Elder rider hands his tin cup to younger rider. Elder rider begins unrolling a cloth, covering some biscuits. They exchange the tin cup of coffee for a biscuit. Elder rider sips the coffee. Young rider watches elder rider closely, then takes a bite of the biscuit.
Now that's some good arbuckles. Ain't no Blackwater. This could float a horseshoe.
About the only thing I can make well. Good for a sinker like this.
Well, learned to make them on the last trail.
Been out there long?
I suppose so, but can't rightly remember how long it's been. How about yourself?
Since Palomino Hill.
The Battle of Palomino Hill. Yeah, now that was some time ago, wasn't it?
Almost 2 years.
Oh, gots to be more than 2. I was there. Gotta be at least 20.
Maybe it just feels like 20.
Yeah, could be. I've been done more than most men could get done in 2 years. Been a lifetime of riding and wrangling.
And all for nothing.
What you mean? Being on the range weren't all that bad.
I mean the war. What did it get us?
Might be a few black folks who might disagree with that.
You think they'd be better off now?
Well, I don't know about all them. But one thing I learned out here is freedom. It can be a precious thing when you don't have it. Isn't that why you out here?
I'm trying to figure that one out. When it was all over, I just got on my horse and started riding.
So you was riding away from something, not riding to something.
Is there a difference?
It depends. What you riding away from?
What I was and don't want to be.
So the man who saddled up in Palmito ain't the man sharing his coffee.
I ain't been far enough yet.
I see. Well, I've been as far as you can go on horse. Ended up at the top of a cliff with an ocean standing in my way. And I can tell you, once you get to that cliff, you only got 2 choices. Step off or go back. Here I am now on my way back.
Back where?
Home.
Where's home?
Charleston.
That's where I grew up.
You don't say.
My family had a small farm there. They still might. I ain't sure.
You ain't never been back?
Not since we rode into Texas. Not since Palomito Hill.
Well, don't this beat all? Well, it's plumb strange we never met up before. We've been crossing paths for some time now. Well, I guess it's about time you and I sat down and jawed together.
Seems like it was bound to happen, don't it? Too bad we're going in the opposite directions.
Well, we don't have to be. I've already gone as far as you can go. I've seen it all, and I can tell you what's out there ain't no different from where you came from.
Why's that?
Because when it comes right down to it, you're the same you. You think you're going to be different, but no matter how far you go, your past is always there.
You don't think a man can change? In all the years you've been out there, you haven't changed at all?
I suppose there's been some change. I've learned different things, like making biscuits. Oh, I've been more free than most men. And every new thing has changed me from some, but in total, I mean, what I am, everything I've done, I'm still made from my past.
How free can anybody be if you can't get away from your past? What is freedom if you can't escape the horrors behind you?
Yeah, I get you. But freedom is accepting choices and owning those choices. If you can't accept what you've done, then you can't be free.
It was all orders. We had no choice. I had no choice. I left fields filled with bodies of men I never knew. Brothers, fathers, sons. What freedom do they have?
I get you. I do. War is hell. And thank God it is. If it weren't, we'd do it more often.
Hell is other people.
I don't know about that. Sometimes other people share some coffee and a biscuit. Is it a good biscuit?
Yeah, I already told you that.
Yeah, a biscuit you almost didn't get. You held a gun on me. Longer than most men had. Your first choices were to shoot me or force me to move on. Right on. Now that was your past speaking. Sharing your coffee was the change that you want to be.
Then maybe I still need to ride on. Put the distance behind me. Distance from those choices.
Maybe. Getting out on the horizon can give you a clear picture of what's in front of you. I just think that sometimes a man looks for his hat, but doesn't look to where he's wearing it, so he never finds it.
When you got to the cliff, did you find what you were looking for?
I found that what I was looking for was I wasn't looking for nothing. I was what I was and what I will be. And it was just time to turn around and ride home.
You know, it might not be there anymore. A lot has changed.
Well, if that's true, then you just might be riding in the wrong direction. Maybe the change that you want is back in Charleston. We could ride together. Figure it out together.
No, I don't believe so. I need to go on. Maybe get to that cliff and see what my choices are.
Well, I hope it goes well for you.
Elder Ryder stands up and finishes his coffee.
I'll be riding on now. Perhaps we'll cross paths again.
You sure your horse is well rested?
As rested as can be.
You got any more of those biscuits?
Yep. You want another?
Young Ryder stands up.
Just thinking, biscuits and coffee in the morning would be a good way to start traveling. You could bunk here and start home in morning.
Now that's some of that Charleston hospitality. I surely could use a long rest. I'll fetch my bedroll and I'll check the horses. You sure we're square and all?
Yeah, we're square. It's odd, but talking with you, you seem familiar. I just have a feeling we've met before.
Yeah, same here. You look like someone I used to know a long time ago. Yeah, strange feeling, isn't it?
Young Ryder nods his head. Elder Ryder starts to walk off.
You think once I get to that cliff, I'll make the same choice you did?
Elder Ryder turns to Young Ryder.
You won't know till you get there.
Elder Ryder exits toward the horses. Young Ryder sits back down and holds up the biscuit.
I bet you I can learn to make these myself.
He finishes the biscuit.
Nicely done.
The Snobby Showdown, written by Tasmin Jahan. Late 1990s, upper-class England. Snobby, a surreal artist, is finishing off a painting when suddenly there is persistent knocking and ringing of his doorbell. With irritation, he opens the door wide. An odd, fatigued-looking middle-aged woman with a furious expression is stood before him. She is Violet Briggs.
How dare you ditch her? You stupid, stupid man!
Violet, what an awful and awkward surprise.
You are the most nasty, short-sighted, arrogant, and gutless serial artist that I have ever met.
I was actually expecting a delivery.
I am here to deliver a very important message to you. It's a matter of life and death.
Oh, I am totally beside myself with fear.
I am here today to make you realize that you cannot remain a stupid, nasty, short-sighted, arrogant, and gutless man. Magnanimity deserves better than this.
Your harsh and unjustifiable words do not make any sense. Are you having another nervous breakdown on my doorstep?
What do you really know about women? Too busy and too self-absorbed, looking at a pitiful easel. Your reviews aren't that spectacular either. So sad.
Have you just escaped from a psychiatric ward? This would explain your peculiar behavior.
Very amusing. Aren't you going to let me in? I need to settle this once and for all.
I don't want you to come in.
Do you want me to shout at you in the street and create a scene? Or would you rather I come in and speak to you like a sensible adult while sitting on your precious sofa?
Neither.
I have given you two options, so you must pick one.
Is that an order? Because I honestly do not give a monkey's hairy
I
yarn.
said pick one now.
Violet barges in.
Forced entry is unlawful, Violet.
I gave you two options. You chose to let me in. You did not stop me. I think that's a fair assessment.
You are trespassing.
The fact is, you have broken Magnanimity's heart. But instead of making amends, you are completely ignoring her. How dare you?
There is no such thing as breaking a person's heart. It never breaks, it only aches.
Fine. Magnanimity's heart is aching all over.
Must we talk about this matter now? It's rather boring.
Firstly, we need to discuss why you have such an attitude problem. And secondly, why won't you accept the truth? You are in love with her, and she loves you. You just don't get it yet, but you will.
I just wanted to have a nice quiet day and finish off my beautiful painting. I certainly wasn't expecting a ludicrous woman barking nonsensical verse into my face. I have only one question for you.
Yes.
Do you have my parcel?
Ah! You are not listening to me. This is a complex situation, and you are responsible for this complex situation. Therefore, you must take responsibility.
I strongly disagree.
Why did you have to let her go like that? She had every intention of staying here, but you let her go. You could have stopped her. You could have saved her.
It was entirely her decision to move out. She is a fully grown adult. She can make up her own mind.
Snobby Stiffer. Due to your snobby behavior and exceptional delusion, you let magnanimity go. She has invested a lot of time and money into this house, as well as yourself. But instead of thanking her and taking care of her needs, you let her walk out.
This is really none of your business, Violet.
Too late for that bit.
Are we done now?
I am here to help heal the wounds and show you what love is really all about.
Show me? What kind of pills are you on, woman? Any action from you and I will voluntarily admit myself to a psychiatric ward.
It was not an invitation. You're really not my type.
Please leave before I do something I regret.
Then pay attention. Once you agree with what I'm saying, I will leave.
My own camera? Are you pranking me? Should I start looking for a camera somewhere in this room? Has Magna stitched me up?
Oh. So what are you going to do about magnanimity?
Absolutely nothing, so please leave.
Even if I leave now, you do know that I will return tomorrow and the day after tomorrow.
God.
You need to tone down the selfishness. By apologizing, you can start afresh and look forward to a wonderful future together.
Like I said, she chose to leave and the argument is settled there. People are always making choices. One chooses to make these choices. Thus, we our choices. Sartre has put it in a nutshell.
Are you consciously telling me that you have absolutely no feelings for magnanimity?
I have a lot of work to do. Please rise and walk towards the door.
Are you deaf?
I think we established earlier that you are the deaf one here. I have asked you to leave more than once, and you have not moved an inch. Please get the professional help you require, and please remain within that institution until you are cured. That is, if there is a cure for you.
I am not ill. I am perfectly sane.
I guess a deranged person would never say that they were deranged, now would they? You are a classic example. I don't have a habit of speaking to stupid, loud-mouthed, and prying people like you. People like you are a nuisance to society and usually create the chaos in their own lives and then spread that chaos into other people's lives. I feel sorry for your husband. I am staggered that my poor friend is still with you. He should have left you years ago.
This is not about me. This is about you and magnanimity.
You are Magnanimity's patient, so you should be visiting her at her clinic. You really shouldn't be here. I repeat, I have a lot of work to do, and you are holding me up.
I just need a straight answer.
You have no right to harass me like this, so kindly move your expansive buttocks off of my sofa and leave.
My buttocks have nothing to do with this discussion either.
You are causing me a lot of pain right now. Prudence may go into one.
Stop using your pacemaker as an excuse.
I really don't like you. At all. Are you not picking up that vibe?
I'd love a drink.
I think I have an eclectic blend of cyanide. Would you like it still on the rocks or just fizzy?
Tea with 2 sugars will be fine. Thank you.
How about cyanide with sugar?
Killing me won't resolve this matter, you know. I'll still come back in your dreams.
My civility is wearing extremely thin, Violet. You have already wasted my valuable time with this despicable drivel. If you are missing magnanimity, then please go back to her clinic, or better still, chain yourself to the nearest bench and start licking it so that they will know you are an urgent case.
You know, magnanimity would do anything for you.
I am in the middle of a very important painting.
Oh my goodness me. You have a bigger sickness than I thought. You need more clarity.
I do not need more clarity.
I think the next stage is for a man-to-man chat.
Violet, I do not need a man-to-man chat either.
Oh, Banjo will make it happen. My husband has special powers. He's a real man of the world. He's honest and very intuitive. Oh, he's an awful husband. But it will work.
It won't. No, it won't.
Just give Banjo a chance. Perhaps a friendly coffee then. Why are you always running away from the truth? I am shocked by your behavior today. You have shown no respect for magnanimity's welfare.
Goodbye, Violet. The door is over there.
Once Banjo finishes with you, I'll buy a new hat.
A new hat?
For your wedding day. Oh, mwah.
Well done, well done. That was great.
Well, we got through all 5.
We did. Fantastic.
And some people have left, but we can still continue the conversation. I just have to remember what went first. I think it was Maggie's lying to my face.
Yep.
Yes.
All right.
It was.
Is Maggie still here?
Yes, I am.
So
Oh, there you are.
that was a nice twist on vampires.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, well done to the actors. Well done, well done.
So my question is, okay, they can endure the sun, but do they still need blood?
No, I was going with that the sun turned them to humans
Okay.
because their veins disappeared. So no, they would not need to. They'd be like eating regularly like humans do, like what Luna was talking about with lemonade and the cake and stuff.
So all they had to do was just endure the sunlight or enter the sunlight, get out of the
Yep, enter the light because they were in it. Like vampires are usually portrayed as being villains because they drink blood.
Right.
So I was like, well, what if some vampires don't want to be villains?
Yeah.
They want to be regular people. So I went with that, and the fact that like vampires can't stand the sun. So I just put a little twist that they go into the light and they become humans again. So they become humans. So that way they're no longer vampires, and the light is like a metaphor of saying that you could change your ways and become good, type of thing.
Nice.
You can find light out of the darkness. Yeah.
Great. Yes, Robert.
Who needs blood when you have chocolate?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It tastes
The
much better
pairing,
too.
the chemistry was great. That was like perfect casting too. Like Haley, you
Yeah.
were great. You were just like,
Yes, you were
I
definitely.
think to pull it off, because it's I mean, it's a fun script. It's really fun, but it's also kind of an audacious concept too. And so the wrong actors are gonna, I think, kind of mess with it. And you guys were just like really pitch perfect. So it was really cool.
Yeah, because like we definitely need like a Luna who is very bubbly and not Wednesday Addams type for this role. And so you play her really well, Haley, very bubbly, very cute. And a Dracula who's also like kind of like half Dracula and also like half happy too, like it's very hard to portray that, like dark, like cold, but also like warm, you know. But Chuck, you pull off that very well.
Thank you. So that you think that ending worked where I threw the cape off and went to become human?
Yeah, that worked very well. We were rehearsing with the cape on and off, and it worked very well. I thought, yeah.
I'm waiting for my chocolate cake.
It was so well acted, and the contrast between the characters was good, and their development through the scene seemed really natural. It was really well done. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was very fun to watch.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Well thought out and well acted. I enjoyed it too.
I like how it played with the mythology that, like everybody knows, vampires and all that stuff. So it was kind of like a neat puzzle to put yourself into of like, okay, if we're going to have like good vampires, how do I like break these rules? So I like how you made it like a cultural lie that, was just believed for generations rather than really the sun burns them. So I like that. It was a really fun twist on it.
My favorite line was still, your grandfather, Dracula, Count Dracula, the 9,999.
Yeah, I did that because vampires can't die. So Dracula, so there'll be a bunch of Draculas then, and they will all know each other because they can't die. So, yeah.
I have to say, I'm doing a lot of political work lately, and some of this was tuning in to get out of the dark, join the happy people. I don't know. Some of it I could relate to. So yeah,
for sure.
But we don't talk politics.
No.
Good, but if it's a play, we'll talk. So let me see then. Then I think we moved on to, was it the 13th victim?
13th victim, yes.
Oh yeah.
Mr. Robert Chambers?
It was the 13th victim. Yes.
I have to tell you, I wasn't able to listen to a lot of it because I was dealing with the Marcus thing, but I was really intrigued. It was like you had 4 narrators and no actors, and I was just wondering, where did the idea of that concept come from?
Well, there is an artistic tradition. I think it started in the 1930s, maybe, something called Reader's Theater, in which you would take something, a work of narrative fiction, and dramatize it by having readers read the narrative fiction in turns. If you've ever, as a sort of an example of this is Dylan Thomas's Under Milk Wood, which is a poem that has often been read dramatically. Anyway, actually, where this came from is in my local theater here. We did an evening of Edgar Allan Poe stories and poems and similar works. I personally narrated The Cremation of Sam McGee, which was written around the early 1900s. And if you're not familiar with it, you should look it up online. But it's a wonderful thing. And Poe and Robert Service, who wrote these works, as well as Dylan Thomas, leaned into the sounds of language and the rhythms of language. And I thought that that was something worth pursuing. And so I would like to know from you all how you were affected by it.
Yeah, I could definitely hear the like alliterations and internal rhymes and things like that. And so I was like, for a while, I was like, is this a poem? And they're just sort of like not reading the meter. And so it was, yeah, it was interesting. It was intriguing. Like it was cool how it would sort of like come in, come into to these sort of like blocks of text that sort of like, you could tell were like kind of bouncing off each other, and the way that it was broken between the actors and it was cool too to see how it kind of rotated, and I like how sorry, the names I don't remember, but somebody sort of like played one of the women that was nearly murdered, like the first one, sort of like assumed the role for a moment and then like put it down and like returned to the narrator state. And so yeah, it was really interesting. It was really engaging, and I thought really well done. It was cool. It was unique.
I like the way the actors interpreted the words, and I love the words. The specificity you used in the descriptions made it very visual to picture it, the blood dripping down her, and he closed his eyes. It was very good. I'm an Edgar Allan Poe fan. I'd like to see one of his works done that way as well as yours. That was very well done. Thank you.
It was very creepy and perfect for the season right now. And I was the same way as Steven, though. I was like trying to deal with the IT issues, and I would just be like, what? Blood was... Okay, account management. And it was just like, so it's a compliment that I got stopped in my tracks, like, which I'm also a horror fan, so that was like blood and lemonade.
I also like the color of the images, and that it all four matched. That was really nice.
Yeah, that was cool.
Well, that was Robert's idea. It was really fun. The words, kind of fun to speak them, and I enjoyed working on this very much.
Yeah, me too. And I love. I mean, right away, of course, it struck me when I read it how akin to Edgar Allan Poe it sounded.
Yeah.
And probably it's an apocryphal story, but I am supposedly related many generations away from him. But my mother never told me how, so I don't know.
From Poe or Jack the Ripper?
Poe. Yeah, right.
It's a confession.
All right, confession time.
Did they not? Sorry, before I go on to that, actors, you were brilliant. Robert, great piece, and the imagery and the coldness. But at the same time, it was just so dramatic, and just listening in and leaning in. And it was like, that actually happened. Oh my God, that actually happened. Even though it was such a long time ago. And, Hanbury Street and all those streets in Whitechapel that you've mentioned, I've probably visited them. But yeah, the actual presence, the way in which you had everyone together, and how it was just sounding out, just playing out. I'm pretty sure most of us know Jack the Ripper, but it's what he did that no one could understand why he did what he did. And you said it's the 13th victim? Yeah?
Yeah, there were 13 in line, and the last one actually was him.
And it was like, God, it is scary, but so well done. Actors, so well done. So well done. But didn't they think at one point that he was possibly a Polish barber?
This actually wasn't Jack the Ripper. I'm sorry that you lost that bit, but this was a year after the Ripper murders.
I'm sorry. Of course, you said that. Yes, sorry.
This fellow was inspired by Jack the Ripper, and he thought, what a wonderful thing to do to rise above all of the conventions of society and be unfettered. And of course, he got his.
Yeah. But
he deserved it, damn it. He deserved it.
Susan.
Glad it ended that way. Too creepy.
Oh, creepy is the word, but quite scary. God. But well done.
So, number 4, Journey into the Past. I really enjoyed that reading. You guys work so well together.
This was Nicholas's piece.
No. Oh, wait a minute. That's right. Nicholas went afterwards. That's went before. That's right. Remember?
Right.
Yes.
Because yeah, that's right. I was like, wait.
We finally got it off the ground. But I guess Nicholas left.
Yeah, he took off.
Okay.
Did he?
Yeah, the whole, and I think the cast left too. Those were both.
Oh, Rachel left, and
Houstonians. Yeah. My Houston people. Yeah.
Marcus had to go out also.
Yeah.
It was good.
Well.
It was very good. Let's see.
I just wanted to know why they didn't get together. Why did they go marry 2 other people?
It's
Never know.
complicated.
We'll
We all
never
have
know.
stories.
Because that's every rom-com ever made. So
Madly in love with each other. What happened? Yes, Robert.
Yeah, well, it seemed eerily familiar, and I don't know if Nicholas did this in another forum somewhere, because I remembered this kind of interaction, and then when she said that her husband had died from something he ate, I went, oh, that's like, I think we had a discussion about this, that maybe he killed her, maybe she killed him. And somehow Ben or Bob or whatever his name was dodged a bullet there or something. Anyway, but Nicholas can't answer the question because he's not.
Yeah.
I loved the ending. It was so cute. Well done. Just like a whoa.
Yeah.
So does everybody here believe that the female killed her husband?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Nice
I think
thinking,
so.
Matt. Yes.
He deserved it too.
Don't know about that. He's not here to defend himself.
Yeah,
today.
so you tell us.
But I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, the way
Did
she
you wanna-
acted, it seemed like.
Yeah, she loved him enough to say, no, you don't want to be with me. You don't want to be with me.
Exactly. I
Yeah,
don't know.
that's right.
It's quite messy, isn't
Don't
it?
protest too
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. Yeah. But I was like, oh, you are so guilty. You're so lovely, but guilty.
yeah.
But then
But there,
maybe she bumped off her husband because she wanted to get back with her first love.
Yeah, probably. It's a very long-winded way of doing it.
Yeah.
no, I know them both as I know Rachel's actually a really good friend of mine, and Marcus is like a friend. We don't know each other that well, but I've seen him do stuff, and it's a testament to both of them that I really believed that they had this thing in the past. Like it was just the acting was so natural and perfect. So I know they're not here, but maybe they'll watch it. But I just have to give a little shout out to my friends in Houston and just how naturalistic that acting was, and it was just really super.
It was also interesting that she didn't believe him right away that they were separated or going through a separation. Like she said,
Yeah.
don't tell me that just so you want to get in the bed with me, or so she didn't buy into it right off.
And I liked
Yes.
and I liked how he was so keen. He was making plans. He was just thinking everything ahead. Oh, you can't come to mine. I can come to yours. And I was like, okay, he's planning too much.
Yes.
Assuming too much.
Yes.
Exactly. Because he doesn't really know her at the end of the day. Even though they think they know each other, he obviously doesn't.
Yeah, he knew that 20 years ago, but what's she like now?
He's a murderer.
In 20 years.
God. Oh.
But he still thought positive of her at the very end. It was,
I don't know if he connected the dots. I think he was
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like,
you're
oh,
right.
Oh, he
He
did.
didn't get it, I don't think.
It's-
That's what I thought.
I get-
Maybe.
Oh, I think he did. I think he was
Did he?
going, wow, that's my girl.
Yeah.
I don't know. I felt like he got it.
Well, then, let me go into Journey into the Past then. And I'm a little concerned that, does everybody think I normally dress this way?
No, not
you
at
were
all.
gonna-
All
But
right.
it was for your piece.
What's that?
It was you have dressed up for your piece.
Yeah, I just, it's October and thought I'd get into the genre. Yeah. Even
Yes, I got that. Yes, yes.
good.
Oh wow.
Really enjoyed the contrast between characters. You guys
Yes.
did a great job acting. It was very
Yes,
thoughtful. It was
definitely.
perfect.
Great job, actors. Yes.
Yeah.
I also want to mention that this ideal for this play came from Jonathan.
Oh, cool.
Oh, lovely.
I asked him if there was something that he wanted to perform or perform in, and he said he wanted to do a Western. So there you go.
Oh,
And he
Very
wanted
cool.
it to be, what was the other word? Transcendentalist?
Maybe, yeah. I think I said existentialist, actually, or something like that.
Yes, that was it. Yes. Okay.
That sounds like you, Jonathan.
and you wrote this how quickly, Stephen?
A couple weeks, I guess.
Wow. Great.
Yeah, great work.
Robert?
I particularly enjoyed the quotes from, was it General Sherman and Camus? Was it?
I don't know those quotes, so I'm not sure if they were.
War is hell and hell is other people.
oh yeah.
Oh, that's Sartre. Yeah, the
Sartre,
hell is other people. Sartre. That's from No Exit.
Said before?
Was that you?
you wrote No Exit?
Elder Writer wrote No Exit. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
or he gave the idea to. But I live in Texas, and I didn't know about the Battle of Palmero Hill. That was interesting. So because of you and your play over in LA, I'm learning about a place that has a monument like 3 hours away from me. And
Oh.
for those who don't know,
Really?
it was a battle that was fought after the surrender. So it was kind of a real meaningless battle, which my only like little suggestion, if you ever make this into something bigger, is to tell the audience a little more about that, because I felt like it fit so perfect with the play, because war is futile anyway, but the fact that the South had already surrendered and people say they're not sure why, they were just like, they just wanted to shoot up people and kill each other. And so it was a completely meaningless battle that happened in Texas after the Civil War ended. Literally ended. I mean, officially was surrendered. So I thought that was a fascinating piece of history that you threw in there as kind of an Easter egg.
And I tell you the truth, I can't remember why I picked that battle. I'm not sure why. I think it was because I think I just did like a search for last battles of the Civil War or something like that.
Yeah, it is considered the last one, even though it was after it was technically over. I was looking it up, and because I was like, I saw it and I was like, oh, is this a made up thing or is this real? So I Googled it and I was like, oh, this is cool. So yeah.
Occasionally I do some research.
No, it's brilliant.
No, then that makes it even more I like that fact. I wish I'd known that. Even if it was fiction, it was still very interesting. Oh, they're at some battle together and they both know about it. And I'm thinking almost, are they relatives from back in the city? Do they really know each other?
See, that's an interesting question, and that question came up with Jonathan about how he wanted to perform the piece. So in my head, they're the same person, which is why I didn't give them a name,
Oh,
I gave them elder and younger rider.
oh, okay. Oh, yes, okay. Yeah, and he's gonna take the trip again. Okay, yeah.
I thought maybe he was his son or something, which he
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was thinking that it was a kind of Dickensian at that point, that, you know, how everyone ends up being related to each other somehow.
Yeah.
at the
No,
end.
that's Tennessee. Oh,
Yeah.
right, Susan.
No,
Yeah, it was
I,
interesting.
I,
I'm sorry,
like
Robert. Oh, Robert.
because the young writer asked, should I go there again? Should I go? And he's just telling, yeah, go to find out.
Sure, go ahead, find out.
Yeah,
We'll
that
end
was-
up
yeah,
together
that was-
anyway.
Yeah, I kind of wanted them to be together and traveling together. It was what's going to happen here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Great writing and great job by both
Yeah,
actors.
terrific.
And I really
guys.
enjoyed the ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the ending. Yeah.
I think I
It's a great
have to make these biscuits.
Yes.
Yeah.
One yeah, it's crazy. His biscuits were like prepackaged and made from Vons. It was crazy. One question I forgot to ask in rehearsal, is it Charleston, West Virginia or South Carolina?
I think I was thinking more of West Virginia.
Okay. Because I was trying to decide, you know, when I was thinking about the character, I was like, was he the Confederate on the Confederate and the Union side? South Carolina, almost surely it would have been Confederate side, but West Virginia was actually kind of like created to be in the Union, and then Virginia was in, so there was a lot of division in that area, and so he could have been either.
And I guess I wanted that ideal of, you know, basically you're fighting your brothers, kind of.
Yeah. It was great. I really enjoyed it. It was my first Steven script, so honored to do it, and very honored to act opposite Jonathan, who's amazing. And
Yeah.
so thanks, thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was a
likewise.
good partnership.
Very nicely
Definitely a
done.
good partnership there.
Yeah, you were a great partner, Corey. And this would be hard to do if, you were just so great to work with. That was awesome. And we get so little time to do this stuff, and it's amazing what can come up out of it.
It really
to write it
was.
so fast.
And I got an invitation recently to participate in a short play festival in New York, and I'm thinking maybe I would do this.
Do it.
Very cool. That'd be
Yeah,
great.
why not?
Yeah.
You have the opportunity. It's a great piece. Yeah.
Maybe give it a shot then.
And
Give
it's,
it
I
a
mean,
shot.
I mean, it's more visual than I think Zoom can capture, because of the way you've got people like, you know, him off stage and the movement and stuff. So yeah, that'd be really cool.
Okay. Good. Maybe. I'll suggest. So our last one was the Snobby Showdown, and Leslie, it seems like you came through even without a rehearsal.
Yeah. What else
You
is
were great,
new? Yeah.
Bob,
Yes,
Leslie.
as always.
Very good.
Bravo,
Very good.
actors, script, Tasman, as always. It's great.
Thank you. Thank you. I
Yeah.
think with because we had the opportunity to rehearse earlier in the week, which was fantastic. Leslie, Bob gave it everything, and I am so grateful to you both. And it's a great piece to watch. I haven't seen it for a while. And yeah, with Snobby being Snobby, and Violet being that, oh my God, out of this world character where and they're so alike and they clash. And I love that. And yeah, it's over to the actors. How did you feel about the piece? Or, you know, do you think that I mean, it is part of a longer play. I must say that. Sorry, I must say that. So it's part of a longer play. It is, yeah. So I took the scene out and I just edited it a little bit purely because we don't have much time. I know there's a time limit, you usually say 10 pages. So I had to make sure that it didn't run over. But yeah, I just wanted it to be funny with a bit of sophisticated flair, darlings.
Yes.
Well
Well done.
It was both of those, yes.
I love the colorful insults between that they exchanged.
Banter.
Just
Yeah.
the like
Yes.
verbose sort of. It was really funny.
Yeah, and
You-
their expressions. Because I
Yeah.
was looking. I know I was doing the narration, but I was like, I was trying to look at their expressions and how they were feeling, and I wanted to be kind of annoyed with Snobby, just like Violet, and get frustrated with him. And I loved how Snobby's some of his remarks were just, it was great delivery, both of you. I can't see Leslie right now, but it was great delivery, and your facial expressions just said it all. And I love, even though I know I wrote it quite a while back, after you've spoken to Banjo, she's going to buy a new hat. And you kind of think, what? For your wedding day. It was great. Well done, guys.
Really clever. Very
Yeah,
good.
good chemistry. Well done.
I was thinking that Violet had the hots for Snobby. I couldn't,
Did you, Violet?
I couldn't
Did you?
help thinking. I couldn't help thinking that's why she came over and was like kind of
And
semi
stayed.
with him.
Yeah.
Oh, but she was, there for magnanimity, defending her.
Yeah, but that could be a clever ruse. A red herring.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh.
There was I had the similar thought, especially there was one point where like there was sort of a pause, and it was like he basically had said, I don't remember what it was, but like he'd said something or said or told her to leave for the 10 millionth time or whatever, and there was like some pause where it was just like, are they gonna start kissing? Like it just like
No.
the like the hate almost went all the way around to love, like it was really.
Well,
I
so
would have
everyone
committed
lost.
myself to a mental institution before allowing that to happen.
Oh, it was good. Thank you. Thank you. I mean, as I say, I've only done half of the work, so the rest is on your shoulders, and you did brilliantly.
And she did it without any F words that time.
Yes, no efforts this time. No. No.
I was thinking them though.
I think I did refer to a monkey's hindquarters at one
Yes.
Monkey's hairy ...
Yes.
But she just barges in anyway.
No, great work
Violet
on the
inter-
actors and the writer.
Yeah. Violet interrupts just in the nick of time.
But all he wants is his parcel, Violet,
Yeah.
Yes.
which she doesn't have.
I
Because she
can't
wants to
finish
be
my
a model.
painting without the parcel.
Yeah.
See,
I only have one question. I only have one question. Do you have my parcel? And I will leave when you agree with me. When you agree with what I say, and you kind of think, right, that's not going to happen. Definitely not going to happen. But thank you.
No.
It was great. As I say, it's part of a longer play. The actual play itself is called The Awkward and Bumpy Love Story of Snobby Stupor and Magnanimity Dove.
Oh,
Oh.
so there's a third character then?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I mean, in total, there are 5.
Oh,
Oh.
The whole play. So there's Snobby, there's Magnanimity, and I'm so pleased. I think Violet said magnanimity, and it was perfect because some actors don't say magnanimity; they say something else. But anyway, that was perfect. Snobby, Magnanimity, Violet. We have Banjo Bricks, and then we have Rita Siren. So the scene that follows afterwards is quite funny, and it was quite amusing when Bob and I were speaking during rehearsal. Bob actually mentioned, because there's the man-to-man chat, and that follows afterwards. So Snobby goes to have a coffee with Banjo, and then a college friend suddenly pops up. Her name is Rita Siren.
Oh.
And she has always liked Snobby, always had a crush, and Snobby's so not interested. And so she decides to, in deafening volume, make it known that she still has the hots for him. And there's a scene where, there's a part where Snobby says, "Oh my God, the coffee's just gone up my nose." And why is that? Well, with my coffee, I didn't order a leg stroke because to him, and she's just too much. But yeah, it's all good fun. But the ending of this play, when it was read, parts of it formed, a lot of people were saying, "No, you can't have this ending because it's a sad ending." And I'm on the top of my list. Unrequited love is always there. I've always been intrigued by unrequited love, and I always think that it's absolutely amazing how someone can be so infatuated with one and the other can't see it. And it's so sad. So the ending was no, Tasman, you have to, and someone actually said it to me like this, "No, Tasman, you have to, they have to get together. They have to." And I said, "I'll think about it."
Which means no, it's not going to happen.
No, leave it. It's real.
So we've got about 10 minutes before we have to jump off because
Oh, okay. Not a problem. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you, Bob.
you actually takes over this channel. So things are progressing a little differently than they've had before. I remember when we had times where one of our rules was that a writer could only submit one piece. And we had months where Rex and I had 2 pieces in because we didn't have enough pieces. And now we seem to have an excess, and there's plenty of actors who want parts, and we are now completely cast all the way till February. I think
Amazing.
I think we have room for one more play in February. This means fully cast plays. So I just want to get everybody's feelings about this. Do you feel okay about we keep progressing this way? Do you think I should cut it off and let people, and you can't propose anything until that month starts? Or, and this is one suggestion that I can't be part of, have more than one performance a month.
How do you feel about that? Because obviously you're the main organizer here. You have to do all the work online as well because it's your time as well.
Someone else would have to host if we did second performance.
I think it's going, I'm new relatively, but I think it's going really well. I think once a month is good. I'm a planner. I like to be planning ahead, and I think most of us appreciate that. I love that you keep it to 4 or whatever you keep it to, Stephen, because it could go out of control.
Yeah.
But I love the contrast, the different plays. Everybody's happy. I don't know. I think it's working. I appreciate your time, Stephen.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. I just wouldn't be able to do twice a month. It's just.
No, I understand.
Robert?
Well, one thing that I thought, and I might actually be willing to be a second host, but what I was thinking of is we are getting parts from longer plays, and I have longer plays, and I thought it'd be interesting to have several short, 4 or 5 short pieces, 10, 15 minutes each, on one Sunday, and then 2 weeks later, if there's interest, do a long one.
Well,
or more short ones, just whatever's available, but maybe expand the horizons.
Well, how is the casting going for you for December?
No problem. Haven't figured out where exactly to stick everybody, but I've got enough people.
Okay. All right. Good. Are we still gonna have an audience?
I hope so. If not, you can do your magic and package it up in a video, and we can send it to our relatives.
How many characters are you casting?
Characters. 16?
16?
Maybe.
I think we had 17 people on today. So then it would basically be everybody who's there will be performing, which is fine. It's, you know, it's a good way to celebrate.
But I think the way that isn't it written like not I don't think all characters are ever on together at once. It's usually like
no. It's like 4 people at the most in any given scene.
So we'd sort of be the audience. We'd basically be the audience when we're not on, basically.
Right.
Which is similar to now.
Right.
And have you cast Krampus yet?
Oh.
My dog, sorry.
How can you ask? Of course I've cast.
I just wasn't sure.
I got the costume. You had me there.
Okay, good. I'm all set. So so Robert, if you decided to host one, you would like to host it with longer pieces. Is that what you're saying?
No. I was just throwing out an idea. I could host a show with small pieces.
I have no issue with fewer pieces but longer pieces. It seems like sometimes, I know the one that I did, Shall I Sing, was a short piece, but it actually ran pretty long, but that's how it was performed. So sometimes, you know, they do go longer. We try to keep them under 10 minutes here, but sometimes they do go a little bit long. It depends on how they're performed sometimes.
Yeah, I was thinking, I've seen Robert's script. I'm just wondering, how long do you think that would be acted, your script? It's just hard to, that's the only trouble. You can't rehearse a really long play either. So
the Rudolph thing is, I think it's about an hour and a half.
Yeah. Are you thinking of doing rehearsals, or are we just going to show up and do a cold reading?
Well, it's not such a difficult play. I mean, all the characters are fairly well defined. Not a whole lot of subtlety there. It's just who. But I mean, we could ask everybody to show up some like a couple of weeks before and just read through it, and in case there was a need for somebody to get some notes or something.
But then if it's all going to be performers and no audience, I don't know, maybe just
run it
right into it. Yeah.
Yeah. Just jump in.
Yeah.
Us getting 16 schedules together might be a bit of a challenge.
Yes.
But even if you wanted to do a rehearsal on the day of, then we would all be here and do it like we do this, where we would just rehearse beforehand, and then everyone's there just to have a once through rather than ice cold. It could be ice cold too.
Yeah.
Just about enough time, 2 to 5. Well, out here, 2 to 5 o'clock. Rehearse for an hour and a half and then shoot it, and very little discussion time, but
yeah,
still get it done.
I mean, I really don't think it needs rehearsal. I can give the script out and give everybody their assignments, and they can read through it. And if they got any questions, they can ask me. If I have any particular ideas of something I want somebody to hit, I'll send them a note, and we could do it that way. The whole reason I suggested this is I thought we could just have a bunch of fun. We could invite our relatives, and our friends to log on, or, if they can't make it, we'd have a video that we could send them a link to, and it would just be a fun thing.
Sure. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Looking forward to December then. And November's already booked, so that'll be on the 24th.
I'll be seeing you, Tasman, and you, Bob.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great.
Woohoo.
Moving forward, everyone.
Moving forward. Well done. Yes, yes, yes.
And Robert, you're still in my play, right, for November?
Yes, with Michelle. I've been waiting so long for it.
All right.
Thank you so much, Stephen. Thank you for everything.
Thank you,
Thank
all. Great
you.
job.
Stephen, I'll message you. I know we have to go. I'm gonna message you some thoughts about going forward.
Okay.
What we can do and make it work maybe a little
All right.
better.
Okay. Stay well.
All right.
Everybody.
Everyone.
Love and light,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
See you, Tasman. See you. See you, Leslie.
Bye.